I'd like to present you a look into media manipulation. This story, quite funny perhaps. Vox reporter called out for posting express lie about Trump's 9/11 comments. I made a tweet the other day because I saw someone from Vox.com, Aaron Rupert, tweet that Trump suggested he was a first responder on 9/11. And I was like, whoa, that's a ridiculous thing for Trump to do. And so I clicked the video, and Trump says, and I was down there too, but I don't consider myself a first responder. And I was like, wait, it's him literally saying he was down there. He was. And then him saying, I don't consider myself a first responder, though. Okay. I think that's actually a really important thing for Trump to say. He wanted to point out he went down, following the attacks on 9/11, but he doesn't consider himself to be on par with the first responders, the 9/11, the firefighters, the cops. Seemed rather innocuous to me. How then did Vox write up an article claiming Trump said he was, or suggested he was, is insane. But here's what's interesting. Let me show you how Snopes addresses this, and I want to talk about how Snopes can frequently manipulate. I hate this website. They are awful. First, let's take a look at some of the comments. Daily Caller's Amanda Prestigiacomo, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, says, on Monday, I'm actually really bad at pronouncing names for some reason. Like, there's a ton of articles where I just always find myself saying I can't pronounce your name, so forgive me. On Monday, Trump signed legislation to ensure financial support to first responders and their families via the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund, which will now remain solvent through 2092. I am clapping for everybody involved in this, the bipartisan effort, support, signature from the president. I'm glad to hear this, that people are being taken care of, because it was a horrible attack on our country, and the people who rushed in full speed, risking their lives to save others, and then lost their lives or became sick, deserve our support indefinitely, because we can do it. It's not that expensive to take care of these people, okay? My dad's a retired firefighter. I know full well what it's like to know that your dad is out there trying to make sure that they can save lives, they can put out fires, protect property. Not the first priority, but it's still important too. So when you have all these people running in full speed at 9/11 after a major terror attack, I was shocked anybody would refuse this. If there's anything we can fund, we give grant money over ridiculous scientific research. Now, I love scientific research, but there was one point where we put like a grant into whether or not fish feel pain. I'm like, I get it. That kind of data can help out in the future, but can we allocate some from like one of the wealthiest nations on the planet, if not the wealthiest? Can we allocate funds to take care of those who died or risked their lives? Can we protect their family and provide for the medical bills? The answer is yes, we can. And we did. Good job, America. I mean that. But let's read about the news. I had to say that because I'm very proud that this got done. The legislation had wide bipartisan support, and the president's comments were well received by those in attendance at the White House Rose Garden. But Vox reporter Aaron Rupert was quick to turn the unifying moment partisan by explicitly lying about Trump's comments. Trump suggests that he was a 9/11 first responder, Rupert captioned a video of the president. The video, however, does not reflect the caption. Here's what Trump actually said, quote, many of those affected were firefighters, police officers, and other first responders. And I was down there also, but I'm not considering myself a first responder, but I was down there. I spent a lot of time with you. I actually find that an appropriate comment. To me, here's what I hear. I hear Trump saying, I recognize the sacrifice you people gave. I recognize the work you are doing, because following attacks, I did go down there, and I saw that. I don't consider myself a first responder, but I spent time there with you. To me, what Trump is expressing here is not that he was a first responder. That's absurd. Of course he wasn't. It was that he saw the sacrifice firsthand. It's insane to me how they twist and mangle everything he says to fit some agenda, and I am so tired of it. Stop making me defend Donald Trump. This was nothing. This was Trump saying, I saw what you guys went through. Respect it. I was down there with you and I saw that firsthand. I'm not a first responder. Okay. Look at this. Trump suggests that he was a first, literally the opposite of what Trump said. Rupert was quickly called out. The New York Post's John Levine, for example, posted, Trump, quote, I'm not considering myself a first responder. Vox, quote, Trump suggests he was a first responder. Oh, man. Journalist Tim Pool wrote, he literally says the opposite of what you tweeted, and quote, and I was down there also, but I'm not considering myself a first responder. That's it. I didn't even realize you know what? I don't look at responses on tweets, but I got like 4,000 retweets on that one. Thank you. Someone said, why do they call us fake news? Another person said, unfunny Seth Rogen's shtick is to purposefully misunderstand everything Trump says. This is why no one trusts them. 2 scoops, 2 terms. Me almost every day. Why do these people make me defend Trump? I don't like Trump. I don't want to defend Trump. And yet here I am, forced to point out that the media is flat out lying about Trump. Story of my life. Listen, when you don't have Trump derangement syndrome, so of the liberals that are outspoken, and there are a handful, who don't have Trump derangement syndrome, we're sitting here like, oh man, Trump's tweets, oh man, Trump's character, but you're lying media. It's the craziest thing. There's a really funny sketch called Stop Making Me Defend Trump, and there's like, it's a guy, I can't remember who did it, so forgive me, but there's a guy who's like sitting around and he overhears people constantly saying fake things about Trump, and he'll be like, oh no, actually Trump said this, and they'll go, why are you defending Trump? You're a Trump supporter? And no, it's just that Trump didn't say that. And this is what you get. How many retweets did this guy get? Let's check it out. Aaron Rupar, 1,389 retweets. Of course, he got ratioed to Kingdom Come because, yeah. But let's do this. I don't want to prat on this. We get it. Dave Rubin says, another, quote, journalist at Vox. Watch the 13-second video. It's quite literally the reverse of what Trump says. Oh, God, I love it when it's so obvious. If you take 2 seconds to click the video and 13 more to listen to the president, he says, I'm not considering myself a first responder. Here's the thing. Trump was down on the ground after the attacks on 9/11. We don't know exactly when. He's on the record saying that he had a crew down there helping. We don't know to what capacity. But here's what the media does. So, look, we get it. You know, they go on and they say, Trump has said he helped a little in the days following the attack, and with the rebuilding process, left-wing fact-checking site Snopes gave an unproven rating to the claim. Wait, what? Quote, Donald Trump and hundreds of his workers helped search the rubble for survivors after the September 11 attacks in Lower Manhattan. Though the site did establish that a photo of Trump used in a popular meme was taken at Ground Zero 7 days following the attack. So yes, Trump was down there afterwards. He did see what happened. What should he have said? I don't understand. So this story is actually old, but I want to talk about how Snopes plays a dirty, dirty game. Someone like, we'll use this as an example, actually, although it's not a perfect example because it's nonlinear. The claim was, Donald Trump said, I was down there, but I don't consider myself a first responder. So what does Snopes do? They'll take a story like that and put a headline saying, was Donald Trump at Ground Zero searching for survivors 2 days after 9/11 with workers he paid for? Again, this is not a perfect example, but there have been stories where it's like, it'll say something like, there'll be a question posed. Did Ilhan Omar marry her brother? And Snopes wrote an article say, did Ilhan Omar marry her brother to engage in a tax fraud scheme to avoid paying certain taxes and then do X, Y, and Z? And they add things that aren't part of the question so they can say false. And then someone will see the story and they'll be like, it's not even true. She didn't marry her brother. That's not the question they posed. The point is, here we have people now putting this story out saying it's not even true. It's unproven. Although, again, this is not a perfect example. I want to make sure that's clear. What they do is they take this picture of Trump clearly on the ground in what appears to be the financial district during 9/11, and they show this meme, and they say, although the meme image used above was taken on 18 September 2001 outside the New York Stock Exchange, the meme reflects comments made by Trump 2 days after the attack when he told an interviewer for a German television station about his efforts to help. He says, well, I have a lot of men down there right now. We have over 100, and we have about 125 coming. So we'll have a couple hundred people down there, and they are very brave, and what they're doing is amazing. And we'll be involved in some form in helping to reconstruct. Why are they claiming he was searching for survivors when Trump is quoted as saying, helping to reconstruct? You see the game they play? I cannot stand the lies. And this is what drives support for Trump in many ways. It's why they call it fake news. The question wasn't whether or not Trump was searching for survivors. The question was whether or not they were helping to reconstruct. Well, gee, what does Trump do for a living? Now, before he was president, he's a real estate developer. So of course he has access to construction crews. And Trump companies may have contracted out certain people to help reconstruct. What do you think he's going to do? He's got property and interest. The media is so full of it, man. Every day it's a story like this. I'm not even joking. We're doing fact checking right now, okay? When Subverse writes a story, because we've been cranking out stories and we're doing videos and we're scaling up, Subverse videos on YouTube. Go check it out. I think it's Subverse News on YouTube now. We changed it. We find, and so do I, like the Subverse crew, they're editorially independent from me. It's a different company entirely. But we do find every day fake news from almost every outlet. Look at this. It's plain and simple. Trump said, "We'll be involved in some form in helping to reconstruct." Did Donald Trump search for survivors? He never said he did. At least not in the quote they're pulling up. So maybe there's something to point out later where he referenced that, but the point is, how is that the question when you're talking about Trump's quote about reconstruction? So, but let me be fair, He says, they're harboring people. I have hundreds of men inside working right now, and we're bringing down another 125 in a while. They've never done work like this before, and they're harboring people, but they've never seen anything like it, and they've never done work like this before. Have you spoken to any of your men? Do you know how they are reacting to this? Because emotionally, this must be incredibly difficult. He says, well, there are a lot of them, but they've never seen bodies like this, bodies all over. The great thing is when they find somebody that's alive, like the 5 firemen that they just found a little while ago. So that's the great thing. And that's what they were striving for. But generally speaking, that's not the case. So they are working very, very hard, but it's a very depressing situation for these folks. They say that Trump's statements are vague and didn't provide any specifics that would help verify who the men he referenced were, what their relationship to him was, and whether he paid for their labor. That's a really, really great point. So I want to stress something. You got to look at the context, okay? Trump saying that they find someone alive. Does that mean they're tasked with searching for survivors? It doesn't. But Snopes frames it as though he was claiming that. He didn't. Now, keep in mind, master manipulators know how to use assumptive language so that you believe things that aren't true. That's what the media does all day and night. Trump knows the media. Trump does similar things. The point is, we can see this example. I'm not going to cut Trump any slack for being a media manipulator either. He knows how to phrase things to so people make assumptions. The point is, the media lies and they do it poorly. As I stated in multiple videos, Trump knows how to do it and the media sucks at it. And Trump ends up winning in the long run. One more segment coming up for you in a few minutes. Stick around and I will see you shortly.